Okay, we're going to start with the speakers. We'll start with David. Looks like Gwyneth, Fred Arnold, followed by Alan Ferdman. Welcome, David.
Yeah, I've been in business for 43 years, which is longer than Santa Clarita has even been a city. I actually came back early from vacation in Colorado today to be here because of this important agenda item. I have absolutely nothing against any of the city council members and consider all of you either friends or acquaintances. I am here solely because one of my main concerns with any level of government is that the public deserves complete transparency from those who make the rules that we all must live by. During my few minutes here, I'm not going to be derogatory towards anybody because I don't think that solves anything. Laureen West has been a city council member and several times mayor over the past 27 years, and I thank you for your community service. Denise Lite, in addition to being a constant active community member, is an incredibly well-respected family law attorney for 27 years. She's also attained the designation as a family law specialist, which most people don't know. Less than 0.5% of lawyers in California have achieved that. This is not a campaign for Denise Lite, but merely pointing out that for someone of her education, capabilities, intelligence, accomplishments, and successes, to be basically requested to be fired out of the blue from her position on the Planning Commission for the stated reason of lack of communication, to put it bluntly, is outrageous. The Planning Commission is merely an advisory board to the City Council. It is the council members' responsibility to let their Planning Commission representatives know how often they would like to be in contact, not the other way around. In her comments, Ms. West said she had never had her commissioners vote a certain way. That comment, you just made it, is disingenuous at least, because she wants Denise removed because of a lack of communication. That is on the council member. I can tell you from personal experience, as busy as she is, Denise is always available to communicate. Denise Lite's appointment to the Planning Commission was approved unanimously by this very City Council 5-0. Denise is an open book. You all know her and rightfully voted for her and know this agenda item is just plain wrong. There is no little thing to a business professional of having their moral being questioned, which this is, and I find it disgraceful. I would like the City Council as a whole to consider as you make your decision that there is absolutely zero possibility that the stated reason of not enough communication with Ms. West for wanting the City Council to basically fire Denise Lite from the Planning Commission is truly the reason. In closing, again, transparency is critical. I think this should be a very quick and easy vote, 5-0, to have Denise Lite remain as a very valuable asset to the City Planning Commission. And yes, I said the vote should be 5-0, including the member who requested this item on the agenda to retain Denise, because we all can look backwards and realize we're all human, and sometimes we say something that takes on a life of its own. It's an easy fix. Vote to keep Denise Lite on the Planning Commission and move forward on the other important issues facing our city.
Our next speaker is Fred Arnold, followed by Alan Ferdman, followed by Gary Martin. Welcome,
Fred. I want
Fred.
to start this meeting or this conversation about the positive. Excited for camp concerts in the park. Getting Hart Park. I remember going there as a kid. That's great. And of course, 4th of July parade. I was in there as a little boy back in 1979. So you guys are doing a great work. Mayor Miranda, City Council. My name's Fred Arnold. I'm a citizen in town, and my comments are my own as a citizen. You all have a tough job to make tough decisions, and so do those on your commission, to listen to other opinions, other different thoughts and ideas. And I think this topic is about protecting free speech. At its core of our democracy, the right to speak freely, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient, is the basis of our country and our community. It's important that we have healthy grievances and requires diversity of opinions. Good governance is not the agreement, it is accountability, and it is improvement. If we silence a commissioner who speaks out, we rob ourselves of the insights that help lead to change that's better, change that's good. Some of my greatest achievements in life have come because people have recommended different ideas, alternative ideas. As a leader of a company, you have to listen to all, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Speaking up shouldn't be punishable. Denise didn't violate a code of conduct, or she didn't break any laws. It's important that we allow people to speak up. Heck, it might save us from legal issues, and it might make us a lot better and save a lot of money for our citizens. Silence breeds distrust, and if we silence a commissioner or anybody on the commission, it's going to build distrust with our citizens. And transparency leads to progress. There's different opportunity in transparency. I saw the opportunity happen today. On Thursday, there's going to be an important meeting where information could be spoken about this battery issue, which is an important issue. At least it's getting started because somebody brought it up, and it could save lives in the future. Commissioners should be representative of our city. One of the concerns I have is the comment, my commissioner. Once you appoint them, they're not your commissioner, they're our commissioner. They're our commissioner. They're our commissioner to bring up topics that are important to our community and important to our citizens. In final comments, today could be one commissioner, could be. Tomorrow could be anybody. I encourage you to think about this decision and know the betterment of our community is balanced on your decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan Ferdman, followed by Gary Martin, followed by Nancy Starsick.
Good evening. Lorraine, if this was your first rodeo, I probably would have thought a little bit different, but it's not. I followed the city for a long time. I remember what you did to George Caravallo and trying to get rid of him. Later on, and when the Sand District was discussing the desalinization of water, we had a gentleman come down from the Sand District and just answered us truthfully. You went over there trying to get him fired. How do I know? Because he called me, pleaded with me not to make it public because he only had 2 years to retire. If Denise Lite did something you didn't like, has no basis to have her removed. I listened to your presentation, and when you said it was your planning commissioner, not your planning commissioner, someone you nominated, it's the council's planning commissioner. And what makes you think that she has to confer with you to make a decision? We need people like Denise Lite who will come out, say what she thinks, and be forceful with it. Look, today I brought a discussion to you about a public safety issue. You don't know how disheartening it is to listen to the staff try to push this off on an informational meeting instead of telling us what they did, what they were supposed to have done. It's exactly the problem that got you in trouble on the solar panels on Soledad. Look, we need more people in our city government that will stand up and just be honest and say what they mean. I tell you what, I listened after all this, and what did I hear when we're talking public safety? A video about some happy day, looking at stars and lights in the Newhall, maybe a cultural thing. We need people here that pay attention to what's going on, tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and let the chips fall where they may. Look, I didn't support Denise when she was running for council, but I got to tell you what, she's gone way up in my thought pattern. Hopefully, we'll have more council members, more commissioners who will do the same thing and say what they really think as opposed to what you guys want them to say. Thank you.
Gary Martin, followed by Nancy Starsick, followed by Bill Cooper.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Mayor Miranda, Mayor Pro Tem West, members of the City Council, members of the city staff. My name is Gary Martin. Some of you may know me as a water board member, but tonight I'm speaking to you as a a resident of this beautiful city since 1978. I am speaking in opposition of the removal of Denise Lite from Commission. I am disappointed by the efforts to unseat Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. I know and respect Mayor Pro Tem West, and I appreciate all that she's done for our city during her long tenure as a city council member. I know and respect Denise Lite, and I appreciate her willingness to serve on the Planning Commission. I call both of them my friends, Lorene, for many years. One important thing I know about both of these fine people is they love this city. As such, I am asking that they work together to resolve any differences they may have in a professional and constructive manner, and I am asking the council to vote against removal of Commissioner Lite from her position. Please do what's best for the city. Thank you.
Nancy Starsack, followed by Bill Cooper, followed by Pam Ingram.
Mayor and City Council members, tonight I represent myself and not any organization that I belong to. I oppose the removal of Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. It is my belief that she was appointed to this position because she has vital attributes to be a planning commissioner. She has vast influence in the community. She has knowledge to understand the needs and concerns of our community. She addresses the impact issues have on our community. And she is well connected and well respected within our community. Her collaboration with you, the council, and the public is absolutely essential. This includes giving recommendations and asking questions that may influence the approval or the disapproval of specific matters. She is perfect for this job. As the legislative body for Santa Clarita, it is your responsibility to do what is best for our community. Please do not remove her as a planning commissioner. Thank you.
Bill Cooper, followed by Pam Ingram, followed by Harleen Grewal.
Good evening, Mayor Miranda and members of the council. I'm Bill Cooper. I'm Vice President of the Santa Clarita Valley Water Board. But tonight I'm here speaking as a resident of Santa Clarita. I've lived in this town, or in it wasn't a town then. I've lived in this valley for 53 years. I love this town. I love living here. I've seen this town grow and I've seen it prosper. I remember the days when the mall was, the mall in the Target area were bunny love carrots and onion fields. We've changed a lot. Our town is thriving. The only place that you could buy things in those days was Kmart. It was the only store we had in town. We've come a long way. We're now the third largest city in LA County. We have a school system that we can be proud of, that people move here so that they can send their kids to school in Santa Clarita. We have probably the premier junior college in the state of California in our valley. We're considered one of the safest cities in the United States. We have thriving industries. But yes, we've had growing pains. The city council and the city staff have really run an excellent city. You do a great job. I have nothing against how you run this and the work that the city staff does. They do terrific work. But we're in an area that has been under development for decades. We're used to seeing planning. We're used to having things being built. What I hate hearing is that this is my commissioner. Somebody recommends an appointment. Doesn't mean it's my commissioner. Those people are people that report to a commission and they report back to the city council. They don't report to anybody as individuals. If they do report to individuals, then get rid of the commission because you're all getting your input in anyway. You don't need a commission. The process for planning is that projects are reviewed by the Planning Commission and then go to the City Council. These commissions are important. They're important to us. They're important to you. They vet those things before they get to you. They work out some of the details, and then you can send them back to the commission whenever you want to. I've known each of you for many years. I've supported all of you that are sitting on the city council at one time or another. You people are all better than this. Don't let this, let us belittle the city and what this is doing. I suggest you remove this as an agenda item. Don't even bring it to a vote. I don't think it's necessary. I like having somebody that has independent judgment on the commission, and that's what it's for, is to have that independent judgment. So let the process work as it was designed. Thank you.
Pam Ingram, followed by Harleen Grewal, followed by Stephanie English.
Mayor Miranda and members of City Council, my name is Pam Ingram. As a longtime resident of Santa Clarita, I come to you today with a genuine concern. I care deeply about our community and the values that make Santa Clarita a place so many of us are proud to call home. I respectfully ask that you reconsider any effort to remove Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. From the outside, this decision appears to be more about internal disagreements than about any failure in her service. Actions like this risk creating the perception that political pressure or personal alliances outweigh fairness, transparency, and open dialogue. I believe our city is better than that. Santa Clarita has earned a reputation for thoughtful leadership and public trust, and I hope we can continue to build on that legacy by encouraging support for qualified individuals, transparency in government, and ethical due process. Thank you for your time and your continued dedication to the community.
Harleen Grewal, followed by Stephanie English, followed by Veronica Hickson.
Good evening, Mayor Miranda, Mayor Pro Tem West, council members, and my fellow Santa Claritans. My name is Dr. Harleen Grewal, and I stand here as a proud resident of this vibrant city we all call home. I'm here with fire in my heart to speak for Planning Commissioner Denise Lite, a leader, a listener, and a true advocate for Santa Clarita. Our community thrives because of people like Denise, who bring passion and principle to the Planning Commission. She's not just a seat at the table, she's a voice for residents like me who want smart growth, safe neighborhoods, and a city that reflects our shared values. Denise digs into the details, whether it's reviewing development plans or protecting our open spaces. And she does it with integrity. She asks tough questions, challenges assumptions, and fights for what's right, even when it's not easy. That's not just leadership, that's courage. Recent tensions, let's call them what they are, have put Denise's role in the spotlight. I'm not here to point fingers or fan flames, but I'm here to say loud and clear, removing Denise Lite from Planning Commission would be a loss for every single one of us. Disagreements are part of democracy. Diverse views make us stronger, not weaker. Silencing a commissioner who dares to think differently doesn't serve Santa Clarita, it dims our future. As a resident, I've seen Denise show up for the city. She listens to our concerns, from traffic to housing to preserving our small town charm. She's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in, and that's exactly why we need her. I'm asking this council, begging you really to keep Denise Lite on the Planning Commission. Let her continue the work she's so dedicated to. Let her keep fighting for us. Santa Clarita is my home, and I know it's yours too. Let's stand together, not divided, and support leaders like Denise who pour their heart into making our city better. Keep her where she belongs, serving us, serving Santa Clarita. Thank you.
Stephanie English, followed by Veronica Hickson, followed by Len Euclid.
Dear Mayor Miranda, Mayor Pro Tem West, and council members, my name is Stephanie English. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and speak. Tonight, I speak only on behalf of myself as a voter and a resident who has lived in Santa Clarita for over 30 years. I'm here to ask that you do not support the removal of Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. A vote to remove her implies there is cause, such as unethical conduct, a Brown Act violation, or professional incompetence. And if there were legitimate evidence of any of that, I'd stand with you in taking appropriate action. But the facts in the public record do not support such claims, not even slightly. Mayor and council, we should not be here tonight. Denise would have welcomed a difficult conversation, but let's be honest, a lack of communication is not why we are here. This city has much to be proud of. Under the leadership of our city manager and this council, we remain financially sound, safe, and thriving. You've led efforts to care for our most vulnerable, our seniors, veterans, homeless residents, and even shelter animals. Our open spaces, parks, and family venues are second to none. But we've seen in other cities what happens when local government loses sight of ethical governance. We are better than that. This moment and tonight's vote has not gone unnoticed. Social media is filled with concern. Even residents who do not usually engage in local government are watching how you will vote tonight. Are we a city that supports transparency? Please remember, just because something is permissible does not make it right or ethical. Do not vote to remove a commissioner over an unsubstantiated claim of poor communication. Let's not discard dedicated individuals in the name of political convenience or fear. This is not a high school ASB election. This is real governance with real consequences. And if it were our children facing pressures in an ASB vote, we'd remind them the strength of our character shapes the quality and wisdom reflected in our decisions. Thank you very much.
Veronica Hickson, followed by Len Euclid, followed by Tony Maldonado.
Hello, Mayor Miranda and City Council members. My name is Veronica Hickson, and I have been a resident of Santa Clarita Valley for 23 years. I don't normally come to City Council meetings, but after watching online last month and being surprised by the request to discuss the removal of Denise from the Planning Commission, I felt strongly about coming to address the body this evening. I'm so thankful for all of your hard work and for this great city that we all love and your dedication to keep it a wonderful place to live and raise our families. But for us to have trust in all levels of government, residents need to know and trust that our leaders act with the highest of ethics and integrity, and that our commissioners will not be punished for seeking transparency and clarity. Denise Lite's questions of developers and planning commission meetings reflected due diligence and common sense. She simply asked questions that we would all want to know and deserve to know. Without additional context for the consideration to remove the commissioner, it appears to be retaliatory. I respectfully ask that the right thing is done, and please vote against removing Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. Thank you for your time and service to the city of Santa Clarita.
Len Euclid, followed by Tony Maldonado, followed by Cindy Justin.
We had lunch and you don't remember my last name? Really? Come on, Bill. Oh, of course I am. Okay. I stand in support of Denise Lite. This whole skirmish between her and Lorene is really, that's like the fodder of LA and around the state of California. It's dirty to the core. It should not happen. Okay? She was appointed, or at least very strongly promoted by Lorene, quite possibly with the thinking that she will go ahead and give her anything she wants without even asking. Wrong. Impossible. Okay? We all know the possible conflict of interest between Denise and Jason Tolleson of the Serrano Development Group. Okay? Backroom dealing, $750,000 payment to make things work well. And then Jason had the ethics to disclose that on the March 18th meeting about that very thing. Ms. Lite does have the right and the responsibility to ask these questions and to question things like that in the furtherance of the essence of this city and how we, the people, are treated and how we are supported. Okay? And I'm going way off script here. This has to stop, because wrong is wrong, even if everyone's doing it, and right is right, even if nobody's doing it. This is a clear case of wrong being wrong. Okay? It's a retaliatory strike, and it is just completely unacceptable, especially in our, what I used to call our idyllic little hamlet, which is now, hey, now we're a big city. We're a bigger city. Congratulations. But we have to keep that those ethics and we have to keep those morals absolutely front and center in all of our dealings. For Lorene to ask for Ms. Lite's hide over questioning something, you got to be kidding me. Who are you to retaliate? Who are you to try to silence somebody because they express an opinion that you don't like? No, you don't get to do that. And to be honest, if the whole city council must vote against this removal, period. And if shenanigans like this keep up across this and every other thing, it's going to hit the point in which we, the people, won't be asking anymore. Okay? We're going to make our voices heard even stronger, even louder. They're not going to like it. So please, do what's right for we, the people. Do what's right for this city and make things happen in the correct way. Ms. Lite is an example of what we should have across our city government. We need more like her. And I suggest we foster that. Thank you.
Tony Maldonado, followed by Cindy Justin, followed by Joshua Rivas.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, welcome to the circus. All I hear from everyone is about ethics and how principled people are and how we act. Where was everyone when I was bringing up such issues when you were mayor, Mr. Gibbs, about the behavior, unethical behavior of some city employees and their treatment of employees that we have within the library and other parts of the city? Silence, including from yourself, Mr. Gibbs. So let's be honest here. This is not a truthful event. This is about someone who's appointed, who refuses to resign at the request of the person who appointed them. This is a matter of law. Simple as that. This is not about personalities. It's not about political affiliations. It's about the law, as is written in the state of California and in our ordinance. When you serve on a commission, you serve at will. Simple as that. And you serve at the pleasure of the council and no one else. This is not about how we like someone or not like someone. If it should be that for some reason the council wants to dispense with that commissioner, that is their prerogative. They don't need a reason. That's the law. Nothing else would change that. And I will ask anyone to challenge the law in that regard. Now, we're standing here. Why? Because a request was made by Councilwoman West, and that was denied by the commissioner. And the commissioner decided to jump ahead at a council meeting and take double the amount of time to do the presentation when we're always provided only 3 minutes during public comments. But it was given as a courtesy, which I actually don't appreciate because of the fact is many times we've asked for extra time and we don't receive it. So there should be no special privileges anywhere. And if anyone doesn't like it within this room, so be it. It is what it is. We are here to discuss the future of the city. And the future of the city decides how it's going to move forward based on what happens today. Do we move forward based on the law or do we move forward based on popularity? That's what it stands to. And anyone who comes before me or behind me afterwards and says otherwise, well, they better read the statute because the statute is very clear. You have a decision to make today, and that decision will be standing. And I want it to be effective because of the fact of I want to change also to the ordinance that I said before about the city manager going back to 3/5 of a vote. We need to stop with this image of entitlement. Thank you.
Cindy Justin, followed by Joshua Rivas and Lisa Kosicka.
Tony, I'm standing behind you. Hello, my name is Cindy Justin. I'm a proud Santa Clarita Valley resident and a huge supporter of our city council. I have the pleasure of knowing each of you personally. I have voted for you. I view each one of you genuinely caring about our wonderful community. It is in that spirit that I must raise a concern. During the last council session, Councilmember West demanded the resignation and removal of the Planning Commissioner, Denise Lite. But only 9 months earlier, that Councilmember West nominated Lite to the Planning Commission, claiming Lite is a highly qualified attorney and a respected community leader and advocate. How do we go from lauding someone as a respected community advocate to now demanding the same individual's resignation? Well, I cannot be certain of all the incidentals, nor can I get into the head of Councilmember West. All I know is these kind of conversations between the respected officials should have been dealt with in private instead of being aired out for mass public consumption. Let me be clear. I do not believe that Planning Commissioner Lite has done anything amiss. But what I do believe is that she is a leader. She truly cares for Santa Clarita and our community. She is very well respected, and she is an asset to our Planning Commission. I am proud to call her my friend, and thereby encourage this council to vote in the affirmative to maintain Denise Lite as Planning Commissioner. I trust that this esteemed council will do the right thing and what is ethical. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Josh Rivas. I've been a proud resident of Santa Clarita for 28 years as of 5 days ago. I graduated from Valencia High School. I bought my first business here in 2007, and I've served on more nonprofit boards than I can count. I'm an activist, and this year I was honored to be named Santa Clarita Valley's 2025 Man of the Year. I love this city. I'm deeply passionate about our community and grateful for the leadership that each of you provides. We have built a strong reputation in Santa Clarita, one rooted in transparency, integrity, and shared commitment to do what's right, which is why I and many others are deeply concerned by what is happening with Planning Commissioner Denise Lite. Let's be honest here, there are no actual allegations against her, no wrongdoing, no trial, yet she's being asked to resign without explanation. Why? From what I can see, all Denise did was what every engaged resident and appointed public service should do: ask questions. She didn't make any accusations. She didn't grandstand. She asked for clarity, and that's something that we should encourage and not punish. I remember once asking Councilmember Jason Gibbs why our traffic lights seem so long, and he gave me a clear, respectful answer. He said that they are set to 136 seconds based on scientific studies and traffic patterns. And just like that, I stopped complaining. It was a simple answer, simple question. That's how trust is built. So why, when Denise asked a question, is she met with silence, retaliation, and a push for removal? That doesn't sound like the Santa Clarita that I know and love. Denise Lite is not just a planning commissioner. She's a mom, a respected attorney, a leading nonprofit volunteer, and someone who gives endlessly to this community. She works, she serves, and she sacrifices. And now she's being asked to step down for doing the right thing. This isn't just wrong, it's dangerous, because if asking questions becomes grounds for dismissal, what kind of precedent are we setting? What message does that send to future appointees or the everyday citizens? I urge the council to reject the call for her resignation, but more than that, I ask you to have the balls to take her questions seriously, investigate, be transparent, restore the trust that has made Santa Clarita the city we're all proud to call home. You were elected by me and every other voting resident to lead, and leadership means answering tough questions and not silencing those who ask them. Thank you, and sorry I had to say balls.
Lisa Kosika, followed by Nicole Marr, followed by Glenda. I've known you for over 20 years, and I can't remember your last name, right? What's wrong with
Literally
me?
longer than that. Good evening. My name is Lisa Kosika, and I come before you not only as a concerned resident, but as someone who believes in the integrity of public service. I'm here to address an issue that strikes at the heart of this council's responsibility to uphold respect, safety, and ethical conduct. It has come to light and has been witnessed and experienced by multiple members of this community and some in this very room tonight that Mayor Pro Tem West has engaged in behavior that is not only unprofessional, but dangerous, including verbal abuse, threats, intimidation of both colleagues and constituents. These actions are not isolated incidents. Most recently, she has retaliated and bullied Denise Lite for doing the very job she was appointed to do, threatening her and bullying her to resign for asking about questions and expecting answers about private dealings and negotiations that involved Mayor Pro Tem West. Lorraine West went as far to bring a vote before the City Council to have Denise then Lite removed. Denise deserves to stay on as our Planning Commissioner. Another incident is with staff employee Kate Lassard. Kate worked in the City Parks Department, specifically in the Open Space Preservation Department. In a meeting that took place in front of then Parks Director Barbara Blankenship, Kate Lassard, and Councilmember Lauren West threatened bodily harm if she repeated anything that had taken place in that meeting. Kate Lassard documented the entire incident and demanded it be placed in her personnel file. Shortly after documenting this incident, Kate Lassard had all of her projects removed. Threatening behavior is unacceptable, regardless of title or tenure. No member of this community, elected or otherwise, should feel unsafe in public spaces or in the process of civic engagement. We cannot tolerate this kind of behavior from someone elected to lead. For the safety of this community, the credibility of this council, and the preservation of public trust, I'm asking for the removal of Mayor Pro Tem West. This is not a political issue. It is a moral and ethical one. Leadership requires accountability, and the people of Santa Clarita deserve better. Thank you.
Nicole Marr, followed by Glenda, followed by... Hard to read, I'm sorry, but I believe it's Ms. Carter. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Nicole Marr, and I have been a resident of the Santa Clarita Valley for over 23 years. In those 23 years, I have raised 4 children through the Newhall and Hart school districts. I have volunteered at each one of those schools for over 20 years. I have also sat on the board of 3 different nonprofits. This is the first time that I have come to speak at City Council. I am saddened for this reason, but I must do so. I cannot believe that it has been requested that Denise Lite be removed as the Planning Commissioner. Denise is extremely smart, very hardworking. She pours all of herself into everything she does. Her clients, her job, her friends, in all of her volunteer work. She does every job, she tackles every job the right way and as it should be done. She is fair, level-headed, even when it comes to difficult decisions. It is inconceivable to me that you would even entertain the thought of removing her simply because a colleague asked you to. I currently work full-time. I am a vice president of a large company. And if my company asked me to remove someone, even if it was okay to do so, but was morally wrong, you better believe I would say no. Not only am I here to ask you to vote no, I'm also asking for an inquiry into Ms. West's dealings. I currently sit on a nonprofit board, and I sure as heck would like $750,000 for my nonprofit. I am asking you to vote no on removing Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. A no vote is the correct thing to do and will say a lot about each of you. Thank you.
Glenda, followed by Ms. Carter, followed by Carl Goldman.
I am not here in support for a person who was placed in the office as a planning commissioner. To all of you out there who were asked, and we just said that, to show up to support her, let me tell you what this woman has done. She was part of the commission who voted to have a 5-story apartment building built in downtown Newhall. A project which would destroy the city's oldest courthouse and bother K-hits. We asked the Planning Commission via Ken to go back to the drawing board. Instead of going back to the planning board, the usual committee canceled their meeting. No, back to the drawing board. Please look at all your friends and tell them what you did. This is not a low-income apartment building that Newscomb was suggesting. Lorin did the work with a developer and was getting $750,000 for the city. Instead, the city ended up with $300,000. We showed up in numbers to support K-hits. And what happened? That same day, we heard that they had reached a deal with the developer. $300,000 was all the city received. The balance would go towards K-hits or whatever. I couldn't help but think, no way in hell would I let another person screw us again. In my opinion, Denise is the SCV version of Kevin McCarthy, not getting her way. Only you are using your friends in Arklands to keep a job you were placed into. Just like Ken, which is not here today, I will tell you this. As a run for city council, the Valley will be notified of your involvement in that apartment. Destroying our little committee and getting rid of the courthouse was disgusting. I'm not going to go on to say anything else. I'm almost out of time. Let's use you. But I do want to say this, in my opinion. Don't do to your friends as K-hits did to us. If a vote doesn't go Denise's way, I can guarantee you the issues will escalate because she'll ask more friends to show up. And let me tell you, I'm not wearing green, but wearing green to support her, if I would have known that, I would have worn black. Thank you, guys.
Ms. Carter, followed by Carl Goldman, followed by Jerry Cook. Let there be order. Let there be order. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm sorry. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I've stand here. I've supported all 5 of you and do support all 5 of you. My name is Missy Carter. Sorry for my writing. I'm a resident of the Santa Clarita Valley for 45 years and a personal friend of Denise Lite. I serve my community and I can speak on behalf of her character. Denise is honest, ethical, loyal, and trustworthy. I'm asking for you all to vote no on removing Denise Lite as our planning commissioner. Thank you.
Carl Goldman, followed by Jerry Cook, followed by Bradley Gross.
Thank you. Lorraine, you and I have been friends for many, many years. We've partnered on a long list of the city's challenges and successes. We've turned the other cheek with your mistakes, until now. Your spiteful maneuver to remove Denise Lite from the Planning Commission appears to be for no other reason than Denise inadvertently exposed your backdoor deal. Are you that tone deaf? Why don't you let the original lack of judgment die out afterwards instead of bringing this whole thing up? Instead, I'm compelled to expose your actions for what they are, no more than hateful revenge. When we designed plans to remodel the Newhall Hardware Building over a decade ago, city staff asked us to create a front facade with one of 3 designs. We complied, along with the color. After staff approval, you stepped in saying you didn't like the design or color. You insisted we redo it, costing thousands of dollars. You did the exact same power play years earlier with a former developer on the north end of Main Street, making him redo his plans approved by staff, costing him over $500,000, delaying the project by over a decade, and costing the city millions of dollars after the state froze redevelopment money. Your antics have emboldened you to believe you could magically make anything happen on Main Street. Once you stepped in, the developer felt he held all the cards and didn't need to deal with us fairly or all the others impacted by the project. After you refused to answer Jerry's phone messages, we went public to expose your maneuvers. You were forced to recuse yourself because you can no longer be impartial. After your recusal, we and the others were able to work through a compromise with the developer. That should have ended this drama. But for whatever unfathomable reason, you decided to resurrect this ordeal with the power play stunt that you just pulled. You've destroyed all the goodwill you've built over the years. You might have restored your legacy before this current deed. Now it's in tatters. Denise should remain on the Planning Commission, and I urge all 4 other members to select a new mayor pro tem, one who can handle and honorably represent our valley.
Jerry Cook, followed by Bradley Gross, followed by Denise Lite.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Cook. For the past 23 years, I have been the pastor of the Freedom's Way Baptist Church here in the beautiful Santa Clarita Valley. I would like to begin this evening by thanking this council for their hard work in keeping Santa Clarita a place where both families and businesses can thrive in a safe and aesthetically pleasing environment. It is my desire that we might be able to maintain these traits and to continue to make Santa Clarita great. I would also like to state that I know many of you personally. I consider several of you to be friends, and I would like for that to continue beyond this council session. This brings me to what I'm here for tonight. I'm here, along with many others, to encourage our esteemed council members to unanimously vote in the affirmative to keep Denise Lite as Planning Commissioner. From the information that I have been able to gather, it is my impression that Denise has done nothing to warrant her resignation and removal. I further believe that the council knows this as well. I also believe that Councilmember West, who has called for the Planning Commissioner's resignation and removal during the council's last session, has, in my opinion, cemented her status as a positive figure in our community by voting and standing up for common sense values over her many years of faithful service. It is my sincere hope that these genuine and tangible accomplishments that she has incurred would not be overshadowed by a brief moment of partisan politics and personal pettiness. I'm encouraging this council to do what is in the best interest of our community and for its constituents, and that is to unanimously vote to maintain Denise Lite as Planning Commissioner. I know you will all set personalities aside and do that which is right. Thank you for your time concerning this matter.
So, Bradley, you're speaking on behalf of Jerry Sarali Goldman?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Bradley Gross, and I am here to read a letter from my friend Jerry Sarali Goldman, who happens to be out sick this evening. Dear Lorraine, we are beyond disappointed with your recent actions. We work closely with you to get you reelected many times. We worked with you behind the scenes for years on the CIMEX battle, developing open space, and many other challenges. Why you're being spiteful and destroying your legacy is beyond my comprehension. I watched you meet on numerous occasions with Serrano Group. I learned about your backdoor deal to destroy the historical courthouse before the Planning Commission meeting on March 18th, prior to Denise Lite innocently asking Jason Tollison a question at that hearing that disclosed the backdoor arrangement. I'd like to remind the council that KHTS was one of the first businesses to move to Main Street. Lorraine had nothing to do with getting us down there. That was back when many of our listeners refused to even venture to Main Street, even in the daylight hours, to pick up our restaurant row certificates or prizes because of the area's reputation. Santa Clarita's three biggest developers discouraged us from investing in Old Town Newhall. We originated Christmas on Main Street, raising money for local charities with rides on the KHTS antique fire truck. After the owner of Max Pool died a couple years ago, his widow sold their building at a steep discount, causing appraisals to drop dramatically. It severely had a negative impact on the value of our building. Moreover, the perception you gave the developer that you could influence the success of his project's approval has cost us months of headaches, tens of thousands of dollars as we work through the sound and structural challenges our broadcast would experience, with our building being a mere 1/8 of an inch from where the drilling would take place, directly affecting our ability to broadcast. Now it appears your arrogance is allowing you to attack Denise Lite, not because of anything she did wrong, but for no other reason than she innocently caused your antics to be revealed. I'd like to remind you, even though Denise and I are friends, she voted against us at the March 18th hearing. Therefore, I respectfully ask the council to take two actions. Number one, retain Denise Lite as a member of the Planning Commission, and two, remove Lorraine West.
Thank you very much.
From the opposition mayor pro tem.
Thank you very much. Denise Light, followed by Matt Watson, followed by Nicole Lynch.
Mayor Miranda and members of the City Council, I'm sure each of you has independently read and studied Santa Clarita Municipal Code in preparation for this hearing. Section 1.1.10 specifically provides that the provisions of this code are to be construed to affect its objects and to promote justice. Section 2.6.10 provides that a member of a board of a commission of a city may be removed from office at any time with or without cause by a majority vote of the City Council. That then goes on to state that missing 3 consecutive meetings is grounds for removal. Section 2.2650 lists the duties of a planning commissioner, and one of them is to investigate and make recommendations and serve as a guide for orderly growth and development, and as a basis for efficient expenditures of funds related to subjects of the general plan. So let's recap. You can remove me with or without cause under 2.6, but you must, according to the municipal code, do in a way that promotes justice under section 1.1.10. I haven't missed a meeting. I specifically asked required questions about the impact fee for Hartwell and other projects as 2.2650 mandates, and the fact that my questions led to transparency should be cheered. In addition to the City Municipal Code, council norms and procedures provide the following. Section 1A, council members should recognize the stewardship of the public interest must be a primary concern. 1C, council members shall assure fair and equal treatment of all persons, claims, and financial transactions coming before the council and commissions. Section 48A, council members shall share substantive information which they have received outside the public decision-making process, which is relevant to decision-making of the council and commissions. Section 4A10, council members shall allow for everybody's opinion to be heard and respected. I submit that you will not meet your obligations as a city council member under 1.1.10 of the Municipal Code to promote justice if you vote to remove me. You also will not meet the standards and procedures if you vote for my removal. In fact, one could argue that Councilmember West's conduct with her Hartwell negotiations and this very motion violates all 4 of the specific norms of procedures I quoted. But more than the on-point legal arguments, do we really want a city where asking fair, common sense questions concerning development of our city is grounds for removal? Tonight's hearing is not just about the one commission seat I occupy. It's what kind of government we're going to demand as a city and what kind of leaders we all are, what kind of leaders you are. At the last meeting, I spoke briefly about Councilmember West's claim about my alleged failure to communicate. Like most of you, I see Councilmember West.
You need to wrap up, please.
I see Councilmember West at no less than 4 events per month. May I finish, please?
No, you may not. I might add before you speak, Matt, that I allowed the commissioner 2 extra minutes at the last meeting, and that was out of order. So I may apologize, but I'm holding everybody to the 3 minutes tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable council members. My name is Matt Watson. I come to you this evening to speak on behalf of Denise Lite. Denise Lite is a very distinguished lady. She's uniquely qualified in her capacity as a lawyer to benefit our Planning Commission decisions. She also is involved in many local nonprofits, and her dedication of 11 years to Seroptimus to bring awareness to breast cancer is remarkable. She's rated as one of the top attorneys in the United States, and she is uniquely qualified in all her activities. She has achieved a very distinguished family law specialist certification, which is quite uncommon. This is a community leader who is dedicated to the quality of life here in Santa Clarita. These are not my words, but the words of Councilmember West on September 24th, 2024. Yet exactly 9 months later, from the very same dais, Councilmember West agendized the removal of Denise. I'd like to know what changed in the last 9 months. I've always known Denise to be a strong, proactive, upright, and diligent person. But I shouldn't have to stand up here and extol her virtues to you. You all know Denise very well. I'd like to know what has changed in the last 9 months. Has she been absent from meetings? Has she committed some sort of dereliction of duty? Has she been accused of ethical violations? Is she somehow not representing the best interest of the citizens of our city? I'd like to know what has changed in the last 9 months. I know that commissioners serve at the council's will, but as an elected council, I think you owe your constituents an explanation before you make such a drastic move. I think we deserve an explanation. I think you should ask yourselves some deep questions before you consider the removal of a commissioner who has done nothing but demonstrate the utmost diligence of character, serve her community with pride, and done her job. Thank you.
Dawn Scalzo, followed by Charlene Johnson, followed by Paul Martinez.
Hello and good evening. My name is Nicole Lynch, and I've lived in Santa Clarita for 46 years. I am saddened and shocked by the request to discuss the removal of Denise Lite from the Planning Commission, especially after all of you wanted and trusted her to be in this position. I volunteered on her campaign team and seen everything she has done for our community. She volunteers countless hours of her time to help and support many people in the community, including donating items for auction at events to support the Boys and Girls Club and Brawls for Cause, just to name a few. I would be here till morning if I discussed all the things that she donated her time to. I witnessed firsthand her love, compassion, and devotion to people in this community. I wanted to speak out tonight because I think it is a huge mistake to remove someone like her who truly cares about the greater good of our community and what it needs. If you remove Denise Lite, you are showing everyone that you allow bullying here in SCV. The same place that has a week-long anti-bullying campaigns at our elementary schools each and every year. We teach our children that it's okay to ask questions, that it's important to tell the truth, and not bully or be bullied. Yet some of the adults and leaders in this community are not practicing what they're teaching. I do not stand for bullying. I do stand for truth. And I stand for Denise Lite, who stands for all of us. She truly and wholeheartedly loves and cares our community. I ask you do not remove Denise Lite from Planning Commission. I ask that you remove anyone who is bullying and is not truthful from our city council. And also, green is my favorite color, and everyone wearing it tonight looks amazing.
Dawn, followed by Charlene, followed by Paul.
Dear Mayor Miranda and council members, I applaud the decision you made to appoint Denise Lite to the Planning Commission initially, as I know her character and her deep commitment firsthand to this community. She's consistently approached her role with integrity, professionalism, and genuine desire to serve the public. Planning commissioners are expected to act in the best interest of the community, not just for personal gain or benefit for specific groups. The qualities required for this position as outlined for the capacity includes the ability to understand, interpret complex information, listen thoughtfully, consider diverse perspectives, and exercise sound judgment in decision making. Denise has clearly demonstrated all of these abilities. She brings a thoughtful balance and voice to every discussion, approaches her work with a strong sense of responsibility, and consistently shows up prepared and engaged. Her work ethic is commendable, as I've worked with her on multiple projects, and she has shown that she truly cares about the well-being of the future of this city. As a fellow elected official, nonprofit leader, and resident, I appreciate those who ask questions before they make recommendations. I find myself in the same capacity I serve and continuing to ask questions and get clarification on information. As a steward of the community, I would expect nothing less from an appointed or elected official to promote such activity. I respectfully encourage you to allow her to continue serving in this important role where her skills, commitment, and her determination to serve this community can continue on. Thank you very much.
Paul Martinez, followed by Susie Perez, followed by Aaron Wilson.
Good evening, Mayor Miranda, Mayor Pro Tem West, City Council members, staff, and residents. My name is Paul Martinez. I've lived in Santa Clarita since 1999. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, a former local business owner, and I've coached various youth sports programs throughout our community. My wife Adriana and I are blessed with 4 wonderful children. Like many families here, we moved to Santa Clarita for the excellent schools and safety the city is known for. I love Santa Clarita, and I care deeply about its future, not just for my family, but for generations to come. I'm here tonight to strongly oppose Councilmember West's motion to remove Denise Lite as sitting planning commissioner. Simply put, in my opinion, the motion is wrong, unjust, and harmful to our city. While I recognize Ms. West's longstanding service, this proposal undermines the very principles of fair leadership. I don't understand why someone who's done or dedicated so much commitment to our and the history of our city would now take an action and stand to damage our city. Those who know Denise Lite will tell you she's exactly the kind of person we want in public service, a dedicated professional, a person of integrity, and someone who consistently fights for what is right. She deeply loves the city and puts its best interests first. Isn't that the kind of leadership we should be supporting? I know many others are here to speak tonight, so I'll close with this. Denise Lite is doing her job and doing it well. There are no facts to justify her removal, at least I have not heard any. For this reason and many others you'll this evening, I respectfully urge you to reject this motion. While I disagree with Mr. Montoya on many things, I agree with him that this is not a popularity contest. This is what is best for the city. Thank you for your time.
Susie Perez, followed by Aaron Wilson.
Good evening. My name is Susie Perez, and I've been a resident of Santa Clarita for 17 years. I became aware of the removal of Denise Lite from the Planning Commission and felt the need to be here tonight. In order for us to trust government, we, the residents, need to trust our leaders, act with integrity and the highest ethics, that our commissioners will not be targeted when seeking clarity and transparency. Denise was doing her due diligence. Ask the question asked, we all deserve to know. I'm asking you to do the right thing and do not remove Denise Lite from the Planning Commission. Thank you for your time.
Aaron Wilson.
Mayor Miranda, thank you for that beautiful prayer at the beginning of this meeting. Can't get my paper here. Esteemed council members, I'd like to address you if I could get my words here. I would like to begin by thanking you for all of your efforts to make our city as wonderful as it is. My name is Erin Wilson, and I have lived here in the Santa Clarita Valley all of my life. Although my family and I have always worked to serve this community, my current service as a Hart School Board member has opened my eyes to many other areas that people are giving their time and talent to build this city. That said, any sector of society where money and power exist, like our city government, it is of utmost importance to have representatives with the integrity and work ethic to protect us from fraud and unnecessary waste. That is why I'm here in support of Denise Lite, who is just such a person. I appreciate that she has taken her job as planning commissioner serious. She is smart, dedicated, and I'm grateful that she asks questions and upholds a standard of transparency. So I would ask that Denise Lite not be removed from her position. Tony Maldonado referred to it as a circus, and it sounds a little bit more it seems a little more to me like a soap opera, because it's so dramatic and reckless and not consistent with a professional organization. Every job I know requires management to indicate their disapproval of an employee and clear expectations presented. Then perhaps a couple more opportunities for improvement before finally letting that employee go if unable to make those improvements. Wouldn't you want to be consistent with that standard? I would just like to close in support of Denise Lite, and I hope that you all decide to keep her on, because I feel like she's done a great job as planning commissioner, and I feel like she'll continue to do so. Thank you.
Did I miss Dawn Scalzo? Apologies.
I just want to echo the sentiments of everybody previously that spoke to you about how wonderful of a job you've done with the city as a council. I'm really proud of the city we live in. I'm not a friend of Denise's. I don't believe this is a circus. And I don't believe this public comment is about popularity. What I hear is a lot of voices from our community. And dissatisfaction with how this whole event has arisen. I don't care about how a hotel got built in downtown. What I care about is integrity and trust, and that we have someone in a position of planning commissioner to ask relevant questions. I personally have questioned why the Camp Scott and subsequent North Saugus development continue to have activities that are aligned with the city's Hart Park timelines. And after listening to many of the people here, I'm starting to think maybe my concerns about shady backdoor deals, maybe they are a little valid. And I think, again, this all goes back to trust. You all voted Denise Lite in 5-0 less than 1 year ago. I haven't heard anything about anything Denise has done wrong, any unethical behaviors. And while I do believe that the position is at will, I would also encourage you to consider what us as a community will benefit by. And I believe that Denise Lite remains in her position as Planning Commissioner. I would also encourage you to assess further what you've heard tonight from the people here about behaviors that are undesirable from our city council, and that those are looked into further. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And now we're open to council discussion. Okay, the next speaker is Nancy. Followed by George Thomas. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. In Santa Clarita Municipal Code Chapter 2.26 establishes the Planning Commission to guide the City Council on development. Under Section 2.06.020, commissioners are appointed by the council to serve as residents and must investigate, recommend on projects. This duty is enforced by Titles 16 and 17, the Unified Development Code, setting rules for subdivision, zoning, and land use to protect our community's vision, environment, and families. Denise Lite took this role seriously, challenging underhanded decisions and demanding clarity to safeguard Santa Clarita. Her questions: are leaders transparent? Do they follow our rules? These aren't rebellion. They were her job, building trust in our government. Yet she faces a retaliatory removal call. Under Section 2.06.010, only a majority council vote can remove her, and not just one. This must follow due process under Government Code Section 65090, open meetings, per the Brown Act, Section 54950 at sequential, and ethics law, Section 87100, to avoid conflicts of interest. Most importantly, California Government Section 53298, known under the Local Government Whistle Protection Act, Government Code Section 53296 to 53299, protects volunteers, appointees, commissioners et al. From retaliation such as removal from public capacity for engaging in protected activity in good faith. Our planning commissioner silencing our planning commissioner undermines Titles 16 and 17, risks legal challenges for due process or retaliation. I just ask that you keep this in mind during your discussion. Thank you.
George Thomas. Welcome, George.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, staff. My name's George Thomas. I think I've beat everybody here that's spoken. I've been a resident of Santa Clarita Valley for 50 years, and I love it here. I love the job that you do. Kudos. Lorraine, I've known you for many, many years. I appreciate everything you've done. You've done some amazing things for our city, but I have to differ in your decision to remove Denise Lite. Everybody I talk to, and trust me, I speak to a lot of people. I owned Route 66 for 25 years, and I have a lot of friends in this valley, and everyone I speak to and everybody tonight that I've heard, excluding one or two people, have talked about transparency and retaliation. And that's exactly what this, seems to be. I don't know all the facts, but I do know that the residents of Santa Clarita, many of which wanted to come tonight and speak that I talked to, they believe that it's very important to be transparent. And they feel that, Lorraine, I'm not saying it is because I don't know all the facts, but it seems retaliatory that you're trying to remove Denise Lite, who's done an incredible job. I love our city. Denise, I love and appreciate the work that you've done, and I hope that the council will support you tonight.
Now we're open for council discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep my comments brief. First, if it's not well known, obviously Miss Lite and I are friends. I've known her personally for a number of years now. We've done a lot in the political world, but I have to admit that I don't know you professionally, and no disrespect, I hope I never do. Okay. That being said, when this item came up last week, or the last meeting, excuse me, I had voted not to agendize it. But I want to give some respect to Mayor Miranda and Mayor Pro Tem West and Councilwoman Ayala. I thought your comments for the reasons to agendize it were very fair. And the reason to give that opportunity to have this discussion, I think, is fair. But I still believed that, over a decade ago, this city changed its platform and how we work as a council for agendizing items. And the intent was not to continually agendize things that perhaps didn't have a real nexus with the council for being a council benefit, and not allow for political things or long discussions on items that maybe the council probably had no interest in supporting. And it was done with a reason to keep us working as a body. But that being said, if you go back to just what is stated in our municipal code, yes, it says that the commissioners serve at the pleasure of the city council. Historically, obviously, every council member under, I think the ordinance goes back to 1991, each council member is a nominating authority. Now, obviously, we hear the comments about it's my commissioner, it's my commissioner. I feel like that's more a colloquialism because that's not what is demonstrated in our municipal code. They serve at the pleasure of the city council. Historically, this council has always accepted a nomination for any one of our commissions. I think there's maybe one time in city history where the council decided that no, we're not going to accept the nomination. And that being said, it takes a very extreme situation to suggest the removal of a commissioner. So when it was brought forward today, it was to have this discussion of what is it we were going to hear that, was there something unethical? Was there something illegal? Was there something that had happened in the Planning Commission since Ms. Lite's appointment that is harmful to the city or puts us in a bad position? And based on the input that I've heard so far tonight, the answer is no. The comment was there's an apparent unwillingness to work with a particular council member on issues. For all those who know Ms. Lite, that is a true mischaracterization of who she is in this community. From what she does in the nonprofit world and what she and I have worked on in the political world, there's sometimes that I wish she would communicate a little less, get a little bit of my life back. But in respect to just what our code says and what we are being asked to do tonight, there has been nothing provided that would make me suggest that this is the right move of action. And that's my comments for now, sir.
I strongly believe that each one of us should be able to have the commissioner of our choice, but it is not the right thing to do to remove a commissioner for just speaking out. I specifically chose someone, and I will call her my commissioner because I did nominate her. I chose someone for my commissioner who would be independent, objective, and ask questions. In order to remove someone from the commission, I strongly believe there has to be a very good specific evidence of wrongdoing, and I haven't seen one. So I cannot vote to remove Ms. Lite. Whether I like her or I don't like her, that has nothing to do with anything. Whether a commissioner would ask questions, maybe I wouldn't be very happy with that commissioner asking questions, but there has to be a very good specific reason of wrongdoing before I would ask to have that commissioner removed. And that, like I said, I haven't seen one.
So traditionally, if we wanted to follow tradition, we don't allow applause after every comment.
A little late for that.
Obviously, I missed out on that tradition, but I would ask that we refrain from either pro or con on any comments you might hear. Thank you.
I have some questions for the staff, more than comments. That will be later on. This is for the staff. Can you please clarify what is the procedure for, we know what is the appointment, it happened, for remove a commissioner, and if we have a precedent in the city of Santa Clarita of this happening?
From a precedent standpoint, Mayor and Council, historically there has been 3 instances that we're aware of where commissioners have been removed. In 2 instances, they pretty much served their term. If you look at the dates, they served up to almost 4 years. And in the last instance, Councilmember Clyde Smythe had removed his commissioner prior to the end of the term date. So, but we're not aware of any for the cause or the reason that she was removed at that time. That's as much information as we have historically speaking.
So was not reason and they moved and voted, or how does it happen?
Yeah, it was brought to the council in the form of a report, and it was presented. This was some years ago, so yeah, it was like 30 years ago. But it was a council report. It had come to the council because we have a historical record of it, and I suspect the council at that time debated it, and a determination was made.
Mm-hmm. That's the precedent. What's the procedure to have it clear? Mm-hmm.
So the procedure is just what the council's going through right now. Removal requires a majority vote of the city council, so that has to be agendized for consideration. And under your rules for agendizing matters, you need a majority of the council to agree to agendize something if there's a request from a council member to agendize. So that's what happened at the last meeting. And then at this meeting, there's just consideration of any motion to remove the planning commissioner.
Tonight we have this on the agenda just to be the discussion, but in the comments, it has been a lot of other topics. Can you clarify also our role as a city council members when we are talking, for example, with a developer? What are our limitations?
So with regard to having conversations with developers, to the extent that there's a public hearing involved in the approval, those conversations need to be disclosed at the time that the council gets together and is going to have their deliberations. I don't know if you need to.
No, yes, and then, but that didn't happen. First, it happens Planning Commission, and that's when that information came regarding the $750,000. At the end, what happened with that money? Can you clarify? Because I think there are so many comments about behind deals, and one of the things that I think it needs to be clarified today is the transparency of that process and that money. Can you please clarify us that? Because we're talking about transparency of the city, not of a person.
What I'll comment about that is administratively, from an administrative standpoint, just taking all the politics aside, the funding in question was debated publicly at the Planning Commission, at least on 2 occasions. It came back to the council on the occasion that you guys debated it, and then it came back for ratification in the second meeting. So there were at least 4 meetings where where the funding in question was discussed. And ultimately, the council changed the amount and made the changes according to the desires of the council. That is the public process. It took place at the commission on 2 occasions. It took place administratively at the council on 2 occasions. And so that funding was discussed at least 4 different times in a public setting.
Okay, so we can affirm that money was allocated, was here, was publicly, and is there something that was behind that was unlawful?
So in terms of exactions or dedications required of developers, in order for, unless there's a development agreement involved, which is a different kind of thing, and there wasn't in any of these projects, the exaction or required fee has to be related to an impact created by the project, and it has to be proportionate to the impact created by the project. And if there's that nexus, then that's something that the city can require in connection with the approval of the process, or the project.
Okay, so there was no unlawful thing until now. And for us talking with developers, when we talk, for example, sometimes they look for us in case we have suggestions or something to make it better. In my case, it was like something really simple, like put extra fences or something to protect in case there's accident. I mean, I didn't have any comments. My comments are considered a negotiation or a suggestion to the developer.
Well, until the council takes action on it, it's just a suggestion.
Okay.
It would not be a negotiation until the council accepts it.
So it's considered negotiation until the 5 of us are here and it's public and we vote? Okay. I just want to be on the same, clarify for me and for the public, because there has been so many things coming in social media, so we can affirm that whatever happened outside, it's happening outside. The decisions and negotiations are here, period. And what we vote here is the last word. Okay. With that, President, I have other comments for later, but I'm going to allow other city council members to talk. I just want to close saying that I want to bring that because since it was a lot of talking about transparency, we're talking transparent. I make the questions to the lawyer, to the staff. We give the opportunity for our residents to talk. And now I'm going to give the turn to our city council members to continue. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I appreciate every one of you that came here tonight. You have great value and love for your city, or you wouldn't be sitting here. I appreciate Councilmember Patsy Ayala asking the city attorney questions, because I did hear a lot of things that sounded like they were confused issues, and I think you clarified them. I applaud the effort to stand up for the people that you care about and you believe in. I applaud that. And that is right. And there are no aspersions here whatsoever on Denise, on her talent, on her ability, on her right to speak and bring up what she thinks. This is literally just a matter of having an appointee for me that I can work with and communicate with, which is what I have with every other appointee I've had. I don't believe I'm asking anything more of the City Council than the courtesy that I would extend to you if you felt that you did not feel confident in working with one of your appointees. And so that's really why we're here. It's not about anything else. And I wish Denise all the very best in her endeavors. She is a talented woman. And she is definitely capable. That is not what this is about. And I just feel that I'm asking you to allow me to have someone that I can work with, that will communicate with me the way commissioners, appointees do with their electeds. So while I wish Denise all the best, and I thank you all for coming, it doesn't change my need to have someone I can work with. And I have all the confidence that Denise will do well in her endeavors. It's just that I need to have a commissioner that I can work with, an appointee that wants to talk to me. And with that, I would just ask, I will make a motion to have you allow me to get a new planning commissioner appointed.
The motion's on the table. Do I have a second?
I have other comments. Sorry. I have other comments before. I was asking questions regarding of the transparency, but as a former planning commissioner, I'm totally agree of making questions. Denise, keep asking questions. Everybody, please keep asking questions. I am 100% agree about people. We can have a conversation with our residents, with our constituents, with different agencies. But as today, as your councilwoman, I want to address the concerns and misunderstanding surrounding the current situation involving Planning Commissioner Denise Lite. My responsibility is to look beyond individual personalities or political motivations and focus on what is the best for Santa Clarita. I'm not on the side of a planning commissioner. I'm not on the side of a city councilwoman. I'm Team City of Santa Clarita, and my decision is going to be based on that. Because I heard so much, it's like, city councilwoman, Westy something, commissioner, so it looked like personal. No. Today, we're going to make the decision for the future of the city. And throughout this process, I have listened carefully to all sides because I listened to you. I read all the emails, all the texts, and the many people on both sides, and even a third side, because there were some people that were on the side of the city, not on the side of a particular individual that were communicating with me. And your input is invaluable. And I appreciate the passion and care that residents have shown for our city's governance. City governance, not individuals. Unfortunately, there has been misinformation, or at least incomplete information. That's why I was asking some questions to our staff and our city attorney. And this, I want to assure that the final decision is being made only after careful review of the facts, rules, municipal codes, and procedures that are governing Santa Clarita. Because when we, as elected officials, swore in, we swore in with our right hand saying, I swear to defend the Constitution of California and United States of America. And that's exactly what I am going to do today. It is imperative that as a public servants, we follow the existing rules, establish procedures that guide our appointments and removals. Sometimes I don't like the laws, but I worked for 10 years in the state of California legislature, and there's a procedure. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I don't like the decisions that are made in Sacramento. But I am a person that follows the rules. And there's process to change those rules through amendments and change and doing things with legislation. But I'm gonna follow what are the rules today. After careful review on the city rules and the facts of this case, I believe the most constructive path forward is to honor the request and removal so we can start fresh. Because restore, I'm telling you one thing, I allow you to talk. I allow you to talk.
Please, let her finish.
When the working relationship between a council member and their appointed commissioner has irreparably broken down, it impacts on our ability to serve the public effectively. So this is what is the best for the city. There's a relationship that is the work relationship that is broken. And we need to start fresh, restore productive collaboration, which somebody can work together and ensure the Planning Commission to continue to serve Santa Clarita with integrity and professionalism. My decision is rooted and are committed to the city's well-being, to upholding the standards that guide our service as public officials, and to respecting the voices of everyone in our community, and following municipal code, rules, and the Constitution of the state of California today.
Get rid of the council member instead. Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
City Clerk.
Just a point of clarification, I want to make sure. The motion is to remove Denise Lite as Planning Commissioner.
I moved it.
The second agrees.
Second.
City Clerk.
Councilwoman McLean?
No.
Councilmember Ayala?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibbs?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem West?
Aye.
Mayor Miranda?
Yes.
Shame on you.
We'll clear the room if we have to.
Get rid of the councilman.
We'll clear the room if we have to.
Hey, do what you got to do. Sorry, we'll leave our sign out anyway.
Bye.
My authority, not yours.
We'll see you.
Congratulations on turning your back on the people. May you get what you so richly deserve. Out of here.
Bill, just continue with the meeting.
Go on to consent.
No, that ain't happening. I thought